Welcome to the Gen Z Marketer podcast, where we have marketing conversations and everything in between. Here we talk about marketing, branding, e commerce, and the power of integrated marketing communication. I'm your host, Jamia O'Malley, a strategist, passionate, and specializing in branding and marketing for e commerce. Previously, in episode 24, we talked about the Big Bad Wolf book sale in the Philippines last June 30 to July 7 and what we can learn from their website on user interface and user experience. Now, let's talk about the overall e commerce experience with the brand, from placing an order to actually receiving the items. By the end of this episode, we will digest what we can learn on customer experience for e commerce based on the Big Bad Wolf book sale in the Philippines online. Before we discuss what happened, please support my show by following the podcast to get notified on the latest uploads. Now let's talk about what happened with Big Bad Wolf. So as I mentioned, the book fair was last June 30 to July 7, and they were basically it was an online experience because of the pandemic. So after ordering, what happened? So, of course, email updates were sent. So, I actually ordered on June 30. So, after that, I was able to receive my invoice, the packing update, the shipping update with my tracking number, and then an email updating me about the delay of packages. Now, I actually ordered last June 30, as I said, and it actually took at least 2 months before I received my package. I actually got my order last September 7. So, as you can see already, not just here, but if you visit the Big Bad Wolf's Facebook account, there were a lot of negative reviews and comments on their posts about customers not receiving their orders, not getting updates about their orders, and the slow customer service. So there's a lot of concerns and negativity from customers because of this. Now, the Big Bad Wolf actually released a statement on their Facebook account, which I will read to you verbatim. So we, the management, and everyone at Big Bad Wolf Books would like to take this opportunity to extend our heartfelt apology to all of you, our loyal customers, for the delay in receiving your orders from the recent Big Bad Wolf Books online sale. Words cannot express how sorry we are you had to endure the long wait for the delivery of your purchases. We hope that you are able to understand that Big Bad Wolf Books has never faced such a lengthy delays before. However, due to so many unforeseen circumstances caused by the ongoing global pandemic, our whole supply chain and logistics management has been tremendously affected every step of the way. Starting with our warehouse located in Kuala Lumpur after being hit by COVID 19, we had to take all the necessary measures to ensure that we protect our customers' safety and safeguard the products from being exposed to the virus. This has resulted in a much longer processing and clearance period at the port of origin, which also affected us in missing several of our vessels' scheduled departures. While at the port in Manila, we also are experiencing another hurdle, which is beyond our control due to the heavy congestion of vessels at the moment. Some of our shipments are currently still in the queue awaiting the port authorities' clearance process. With that being said, we are also pleased to note that some of you have already safely received your orders. Once again, please accept our sincere apologies. We want to thank you for your kind patience, understanding, and more importantly, we hope that you will continue to support Big Bad Wolf Books, and together we can help change the world one book at a time. We at the Big Bad Wolf Books will continue to strive to improve and ensure that we provide you, our loyal customers in the Philippines, the best possible service in the future. Now, what can we learn from this experience with Big Bad Wolf? Okay, first, now let's look at the whole thing. Of course, we digested user interface and user experience for e-commerce websites on episode 24. So check that out if you haven't heard that already. So this time we will discuss the e-commerce experience as a whole. So the experience does not end in user interface or in user experience on the website. It carries on to the checkout process, the delivery of parcels, the unboxing of the parcels, and even customer service. So these are different touch points, such as, of course, your website, your social media, your YouTube channel, all of these different touch points, even the delivery and customer service, all of them together contribute to the whole brand experience. Okay. So this is something I want to remind everyone out there that you don't just look at touch points or channels separately or one at a time or differently. You have to think of how all of these experience together affect the customer. Because at this point, the customer experience has different touch points. It's not just marketing. It's not just advertising. It's not just social media. It's the whole thing. And this is one thing I want you to think about every time you're thinking about these touch points. How do you want to be remembered? As a brand, how do you want customers to see you? So, this is how you apply your branding into these touch points. As I've said already in previous episodes, you need to think about your branding, your identity, and now how do you want to be remembered? And how do you reflect that in your different touch points, even with the e-commerce experience? How easy is it to check out? What is the delivery like? Is it fast? Is it slow? What is the unboxing like? Do you secure your packages? Is it the basic packaging or do you make extra efforts for your packaging? And how is your customer service like? Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it efficient? Is it friendly? Is it snobby? All of these things, you need to think of it. And as I've said time and time again, when it comes to branding, and now we're talking about experience, brand experience must be consistent across touch points. This is why you think of how you want to be remembered. And you need to make sure that the brand experience is consistent. Customers get the same impression, feeling, service, and tone and whatnot from all of these different touch points. They have to be consistent, they have to be cohesive, they have to make sense and really go together. Because it wouldn't make sense if their experience in social media is different from email. Their experience in the website is different from Shopee or Lazada, or their experience in online is different from offline. That doesn't make sense. Next, when it comes to the e-commerce experience, of course, this is more of an internal thing. It's important to collaborate with your different teams, such as marketing, operations, and more. All of the teams have to be on the same page on who you're as a brand, how you work, how you do business, what are your values, what are your vision, mission, and so on and so forth. This is the importance of brand identity that we've already talked about in previous episodes. Now, what else can we learn? When you encounter issues with e commerce like fulfillment or maybe promos and whatnot, or basically every time you encounter an issue, you need to have accountability. So, you need to take responsibility and be truthful because customers appreciate that. With Big Bad Wolf, they did send email updates, but it took time for them to reply to a lot of emails that a lot of customers were already irate because they weren't receiving replies on email. And I had the same experience. I sent an email asking for an update. I didn't get one. And it took me time to finally get a reply. And even so, my issue was already resolved. So the fact that they put out a statement is a good thing. But honestly, it took them time to get that statement out. I think they should have said this earlier on or it would be better if they posted consistent updates online, not just through email messaging. Why do I think social media statements are important? It's because one, the Philippines is a very Facebook or social media country. So so a lot of people look at Facebook for updates, send inquiries through Facebook for updates. So I get that email is a much more official channel, but that's just really not the case here in the Philippines. So I recommend, posting updates early on or this statement early on. Like just like how IKEA did it. So we actually have that episode on episode 26 if you want to check that out on what happened during the IKEA launch in the Philippines and how they handled their PR fiasco or their online fiasco. Next, of course, about radio silence. So, as we talked about, what happened with Big Bad Wolf is that they did not acknowledge, or how do I say it? They were quiet. They were radio silent on social media, which is why a lot of customers react negatively and started leaving negative reviews. As we said, it is better to release a statement earlier rather than radio silence. It also helps because when you take accountability or immediately make an announcement about the status and whatnot, influx of customer inquiries can be lessened because customers already so, oh, okay, they posted or okay, they announced this, therefore I don't have to ask this anymore. So overall, I think what we can also learn from this is that you have to be informative and provide information as much as possible or as often as you could for issues like this. Otherwise, you're just gonna get a pile of customer inquiries and it's gonna take time for you to answer all of those. Okay, so that's my advice. So that wraps up this episode. I hope you learned something from this experience. So, do you want to see my book haul, or I want to hear if you also bought from Big Bad Wolf? So, maybe I should even host a giveaway for books or something. So, to see my book haul from Big Bad Wolf and participate in a possible giveaway, so head over to the Facebook page of the podcast. It's the Gen Z Marketer on Facebook and at Gen Z MKT on Instagram. It's all linked in the description. So I'd love to hear from you guys with your experience and thoughts and whatnot. So see you guys there.